Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 2 of What If Naruto Was Neglected and Lost Everything. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and stay in tune for the rest of the What Ifs coming your way over on Anime King and Anime King 3. Yes, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, I indeed have 3 channels. Anime King 2, and Anime King 3. Each night, a new What If is posted on all of them. So go over there and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for helping and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as Naruto was 5 years old, both him and Itachi were good friends. Itachi was rather different from most kids though. He was a pacifist. Saying war so much time, he really hated to see it now. As Kushina came out of the hospital, both her and Mikoto was pregnant, but Mikoto was having her child first. She came out of the hospital and told Itachi where to go, as Itachi rushed in to meet his little brother. As Naruto's mother took him as he had eaten a popsicle, she brought him to Ichiraku Ramen so the both of them could eat some lunch, and his father came there as well. A wonderful scene. Years passed, as Naruto's life was literal hell. He had a seal on his arm, a representation of a fox sealed inside of him. As the fox has been quiet, not even a peep, Itachi came for Naruto to bring him to the academy, as Naruto's life has been nothing but misery, as people hated him now for what he had contained inside of him, given the fact that the fox slaughtered so many people. As Naruto wanted to become Hokage, but not the reason for anyone thinking, not to protect or anything like that. He wanted the truth. He wanted to know what happened on that night. As he made his way to the academy with Itachi, as the both of them were to take the exam, as they were graduating early. The both of them were quite advanced for their age, and they were taking the exam early. Itachi was confused and Naruto did not get there, as he took his exam and passed. As Naruto finally came with Orochimaru, he was beaten up and his leg was twisted, as a mob had attacked him. He should have known more than enough that the Hokage wouldn't have called for him out there, as he was attacked by a mob and nearly beaten to death. Orochimaru was the one that came by. With his Kusanagi blade, he silenced all of the mob members, as he brought Naruto to the academy to take the exam. As Itachi was happy that Naruto was okay, as Naruto ended up kicking Mizuki right in the nuts so that he could pass the exam, as Mizuki was coming at him rather hard. So with that, he passed the exam and both him and Itachi got their head banged, but Naruto ended up passing out from the strain on his body. He woke up at the Uchiha compound, as Mikoto wanted to take care of him and make sure he's okay, but knowing him, he would try to sneak out, so he had to jug his food after he eat so that he could get some proper rest. She went to her husband. He was a sucker for her sadness, so he didn't want to see her sad at all. So he allowed Naruto to stay, but he has to be snuck out of the Uchiha compound before anyone noticed. As Naruto was going to be in a team with Itachi, he was so happy. And also Anko and their Jonin sensei will be Orochimaru of the Sannin. The kids in the class were rather shocked. They were going to be trained by a Sannin at the Hokage's tower. The Hokage was there. It was none other than Minato Namikaze. Kakashi didn't know why or what the hell was going on. Minato just went up and disowned his son like that. And Kushina didn't seem to care at all. She was with her little girl, her baby girl that born, as no one had any idea what the hell was going on, because all of that was inside of Minato's head. As Kakashi had no idea why would he ever disown Naruto like that, as he treat the boy like he's not even family. He isn't even living with them, and Kushina didn't seem to care. That was the strangest part, as Kakashi was just confused. Minato referring to Naruto as a weapon, as he didn't understand at all. So yeah guys, it was basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the playlist and check out for yourself. So this begins new episode. Orochimaru had brought his new team towards the training ground. The training ground had some undergrowth, some bushes, trees. It was close to the outskirts of the village. Well, at least it wasn't bad as training ground 44. Orochimaru turned towards the three naive, whining little Jennings that he either was gonna find something interested in or sent back to the academy right away without a second thought. Naruto was interesting that much. He could tell. Orochimaru knew that ever since he set gaze on the boy, Itachi was interesting as well, being a Uchiha. But without the Sharingan, he wasn't that much interesting. The third was a war orphan and a no one, and she was scared as he could feel the fear rolling off of her like any snake could, like a mouse standing in front of a giant snake, knowing that it's about to get killed and devoured. He grinned at that scared expression on her face. If anything, he would keep her around to see that scared expression. Or, he could always mentor the two boys and throw her back in the academy. Or, test her in one of his latest experiments. Present yourself, Orochimaru said. Itachi raised the eyebrow, as Uncle did as well, as they had no idea what the man was saying. He was a legendary Sanin, so he was probably saying something too complicated for them to understand. Damn, Uncle thought. Maybe it was some sort of sensei stuff that she should have learned at the academy. Maybe it wasn't covered by the second-hand book that she had bought. She gulped nervously. Naruto narrowed his eyes towards Orochimaru. I am Naruto Uzumaki, Orochimaru sensei, he said. I have no interest worthy of notice, and my sole purpose is to survive while seeking the truth, he added. Uncle looked at him. What truth was there to find, she wondered. And that made no sense. Their sensei was probably gonna eat him alive right now. Orochimaru simply nodded as he turned towards Itachi. As Itachi did the same thing. My name is Itachi Uchiha, Orochimaru sensei. I enjoy visiting Japanese cafe, and my dream is to bring peace to the shinobi world. As Itachi spoke, the frown on Orochimaru's face came out more visibly, making Itachi feel puzzled. It seems like whatever he said made the snake Sanin wince. Dreams are fickle, Orochimaru said. Purpose, objective, ambitions, determinations, achievements. Those are strong things. Ideals, dreams, hope. Those are for the weak-willed people. If you seek something, achieve it. If you're not worthy of being a shinobi. Itachi nodded as he went silent. What the man was trying to say was that he should seek peace. He should not make a promise to do it. He should grasp out and grab onto it. Orochimaru gazed and turned towards Uncle. She gulped. My name is Uncle Mirashi, Orochimaru sensei, and I like conducting tea ceremonies, she said. And my don't say dream, she thought to herself. My objective is to become one of the best kunoichi of Konoha, she finished, hoping that she didn't make the man angry. Orochimaru said nothing, not a scoff, not a scowl, not a smile. He simply waited for a few seconds before he spoke. Boring. As he said that, his lower half merged with the tree behind him, remaining his upper half alone that was coming out of the tree. Well, we might as well get this over with. Naruto winced at that. His worst fear was coming true. The test that was supposed to be done for the next day was going to happen today, meaning he was probably going to fail with his leg in this damn cast. Damn it, he couldn't let Itachi down. They would both rise together. That was their promise. Anko didn't know what was going on, but she did see Itachi and Naruto tense up a bit as Naruto brought to the kunai. Huh? She was confused. Itachi brought to the tanto with the Uchiha symbol on it. She did not bring her weapons. She thought they would just be talking. She never knew that they would be training so soon. Were the two of them already equipped? Did they know about this already? She had to ask them eventually when she got a chance. I will give you 15 minutes of time to hide. Then I will take 5 minutes to capture you. Survive 5 minutes and you'll be fine. As he placed an alarm clock on the base of a tree, as he started to fuse into it. And obviously, if you fail, you will be going back to the academy. And with that, he disappeared into the tree completely. So that is what this was all about, Uncle thought. As she saw her teammates looking at her, they would probably blame her, if anything. The Kyuubi would probably eat her, and the Uchiha will tell his clansman that it was her fault. The poor war orphan is going to take the blame for everything, obviously. She gritted her teeth, but she was surprised when he handed the kunai to her. She was shocked into silence, confused. Midarashi-san, said Naruto. We'll get out of this together, okay? Uncle blinked. Why was the brat? Why was the 7-year-old brat calming her down? She was the one that was supposed to take point. After all, she was the oldest one. Yet the two boys were calming her down, making her feel safe. I don't need you to tell me this, brat, she said. She said in a rather snapping tone. She didn't actually want to snap at him, but she was surprised and she got not a rant or a yell back, just a simple gaze. His face had returned back to normal, between tense and worry. Naruto-kun, said Itachi. What's your plan? Hey, since when does a Uchiha ask for a plan from someone else? Aren't you a stuck-up clan of dojutsu users? Uncle asked. That we are, Itachi said. Uncle eyes widened. Did he just admit her insult? What the hell? But Itachi continued. He's more unpredictable than me, so he's better to start with a plan. What does unpredictable has to do with the rest? Uncle asked. I've got an idea, said Naruto, but we have to move. Sensei could still be in the bark of that tree, for all we know. Let's walk in that direction. Within the tree, Orochimaru chuckled. Itachi was right after all. Skills was a Uchiha thing, and the strength, but a thought pattern, a calculated mind, and being unpredictable. That was what made Naruto, well, surprising. It was just like when he first met the boy. Flashback. Orochimaru, one of the legendary Sannin, who completed S-rank missions without battering an eyelid, who was currently 38, had a secret. Not a secret about his experiments, the kids that he kidnapped, the orphans that were taken off the street at night, and that he had many labs spread all over the elemental nation. His deep dark secret was that he enjoyed taking and eating some of the bird eggs raw. Yes, that was his secret. His reputation would surely drop if anyone found out that Orochimaru the Sannin, the snake Sannin who was renowned for his strength, the prodigy, the creator of techniques, enjoyed eating pigeon and hawk eggs. As he made his way to the aviary, a large cage building that were enclosed that kept birds inside, he was surprised when he found someone else there. A boy, no older than 6, if he would say. He had a straw basket in one hand, and he was grabbing the biggest egg. The boy was handpicking them, meaning that he knew what he was doing, or he has been doing this for some while now. Orochimaru wondered why the guards hadn't found this boy yet. The boy had entered. As Orochimaru watched him left, a grappling hook that was tied together, ropes, bamboo fibers. That is what he used to climb up on the tallest window. That is why he wasn't spotted. Orochimaru has been interested in Naruto since then. And it became even worse when he found out who he was. In the flashback, Orochimaru slipped on the ground, making his way. When the time was up, he was simply just jumped on them, as the Hokage had told him to make them fail. And he didn't like to list the orders, so he was gonna pass them. But if they did not show, well, something interesting to get him to be delighted by their presence of being his genuine team, they wouldn't be worth his time. 3 minutes passed and Orochimaru realized they were heading into the village. They couldn't reach it even though she was older. She had sucked in her pride and she was following the 2 younger boys. Orochimaru chuckled as he saw what Naruto was doing. Orochimaru, if he can merge with natural stuff, then maybe he can't merge with concrete. Orochimaru chuckled again. Nice thought, Naruto-kun, but it won't work with me. He never said that he wouldn't pursue them. He only told them he would give them 15 minutes to hide. 7 minutes had already passed as he was watching them. As they reached at the main gate, Itachi, uncle, I can't run to the destination, so I'll have to ask you to carry me, said Naruto in a whisper. As the merchants, all of them were making their trip. What's the destination? Asked Itachi. Uncle narrowed her eyes. She wasn't about to play babysitter. After all, she had yet to hear the plan for Kami's sake. The boy did gift her a shiny new kunai, so maybe she wouldn't try it on him, but she wanted an explanation as she wanted to know what the hell he was thinking. Not now, Naruto whispered as he shook his head. When that wagon moved, you both have to start dashing. Midarashi-san, I'm sorry, but could you please carry me, he said. Why would I? You do have 2 legs, don't you? Asked Uncle as she narrowed her eyes. She wasn't just gonna give out a free piggyback ride like that. Naruto-kun has a broken leg, said Itachi, and he would have asked you if it wasn't necessary. Uncle blinked in surprise. His leg was broken? As broken legs don't heal in one day. But he took the exam yesterday, so that meant... So he was in pain all this time and he was keeping it in. Well, it seems like her team wasn't a bunch of wussy kids after all. Fine, but if you grab a feel, I'm breaking your other leg, she said. She turned and lowered herself. So what now? Itachi, you take point. To the left. When I say go, you throw this to the right side, okay? As Naruto handed Itachi a smoke pellet, Orochimaru was on the ground as he could feel their body heat, their temperatures. Didn't they know that he had more than 100 ways to track them down? Whatever Itachi was gonna throw, it wasn't gonna help them. Not in the slightest. The wagon moved. The horse. Feet tramped on the ground as Orochimaru lost the kid's own trampling. But he picked it up a second later. It was faint though, and then it was gone. Puzzled, he appeared in the street as he looked around, as he saw the smoke into the alleyway. So they must have gone straight up then, to try to fool him. What was in that direction? Where would they go to hide? The Hokage Monument. The Sarutobi compound. Was that their destination? He did tell them they just have to hide. They could go in anywhere they want. They would probably try to hide at his sensei house, which had wards, and it was hard for Orochimaru to enter. Orochimaru chuckled. Smart, but not smart enough, as he hopped to the rooftop and headed off. Meanwhile, inside of the smoke in the alleyway were the three Genins holding their breath tightly. Midarashi-san smelled like tea leaf, Naruto thought. After the smoke dispersed, he whispered, "We head back to start." Meanwhile, Orochimaru arrived at the Sarutobi compound. As he had to wait until the 15 minutes were up. The kids didn't seem to be here at all. The compound was deserted, void of life. Orochimaru paused as he turned slowly. As he turned back to the alleyway that he was coming out of. At the ex-Hokage, his sensei, smoking his pipe. "Here to explain why you're probing my house security," asked Sarutobi. "Sensei," Orochimaru said, "I'm testing my Genin team." "Did you ask him to infiltrate my house as a Genin test?" said Sarutobi. "While I'm sure that will help with team working, there are far too many dangerous wards in there," said Sarutobi. "Actually, no. I asked him to run and I would give chase. They thought it might be pretty smart to hide in a tightly secure compound. Obviously, if they could get in, so could I. But being Genins, they thought they could get into your compound," he said. "Well, I did set the wards to allow Naruto in. If he ever need anything, he's a part of your team, correct?" Orochimaru nodded. "Well, I can tell you this much, since I don't want to be unfair. They're not in there, Orochimaru-kun. The wards would have warned me if someone had entered the house. And given the fact that they have not set off, that means the team has managed to trick you, Orochimaru." Orochimaru's eyes narrowed. He wasn't going to be played like a fool, not if he can avoid it. "I see." As Orochimaru started to leave, as Hiruzen watched him go, "Orochimaru, I am pleading that the news I heard about you aren't true. Because if they are, when did you stop being human?" Orochimaru went back as he used his sensory ability to track down the tree. They had to be somewhere in the village, right? He then narrowed his eyes. No. He was thinking like an idiotic chunin who wasn't even worth a second of his time. They were being led by a boy that was able to enter Konoha Bird Sanctuary without being detected. They weren't in Konoha at all, so the only other place it could be was outside. But they would be in the last place I would search for them. Orochimaru chuckled. "You clever bastard." The starting point. As he slowly made his way back, the thought was dead on. He was slow on purpose to get there in the last 3 minutes, giving them hope that they would pass. Then to take it away. It was so pleasurable. The three Genins were there, silent. Although Orochimaru could feel the fear coming from the Kunoichi, the tension barely hidden by the blonde boy, and the nervousness by the Uchiha. He waited for a brief second before he appeared in front of them. Instead of running away or doing anything, they just sighed. "Seems we got caught, guys," said Uncle. "I told you we shouldn't have believed the brat words," as she grabbed Naruto by his jacket. "Well, it's not that I'm a legendary Sonic for nothing," Orochimaru said, as Itachi nodded, agreeing with him. "Orochimaru-san, we see little reason to continue this. If we were resulted to go into force, our manpower has been cut with Naruto's leg broken." "What?" Uncle said. "You care to repeat that you stick in the ass, Uchiha? You mean this little brat is stronger than me? I got the best aim in all of my class and I was ranked 3rd in the written test of my class." "Itachi ranked 1st always," said Naruto, as he was still being held by Uncle. And I was always second, so clearly, I'm stronger than you. Oh no, you're on, brat. I'm gonna wipe the floor with you. And Orochimaru narrowed his eyes. And then he chuckled. His chuckling burst out in a full-blown laughter. Uncle paused. Orochimaru-san, she said, gulping in fear, as his laughter scared her. Oh, Naruto-kun, really? You thought this trick would work, Orochimaru said. Snakes burst on the ground and wrapped around all three of them. I have you all captured now, with 30 seconds remaining. So you're all going back to the academy. Well then, Sensei, it seems I'm really a lucky guy, because I did tamper with the alarm bell, adding an extra 33 seconds. So you set it backwards, Orochimaru said as a snake released them. You used my arrogance against me. Still, the timing was still off. He wasn't really carrying a watch, but still, something didn't make sense to him. The three turned towards Naruto. Well, actually, I did set the time backwards instead of forwards. Orochimaru started to laugh. The boy was smart, he had to give him that. He set the time backwards, so even if they were caught, and Orochimaru looked over the clock to see that the time was up. The time was really up, and he went and released them. And now the time just ended. It was a double-edged sword, because if Orochimaru hadn't dropped them, they would have still lost. We start training tomorrow. Come here, Naruto, he said. Naruto stepped forward as Orochimaru sliced the cast open, as he injected a cellular growth regeneration remedy, something that he tried to create after seeing his teammate gain release ability with a mixture of painkillers. The leg should be back to normal in 2 hours without him even feeling any pain. No training with it till tomorrow though, said Orochimaru, as his eyes narrowed. Be punctual, 5 sharp, and no tampering in the clock ever again, he said, his words sounding sinister. Yes, Sensei, all three of them said. As the man left, the three of them dropped to the ground, panting in fear and stress. They passed. Damn, that was wicked, Uncle yelled. I mean, underneath stuff. All the way. You know, I like you, brat, she said. She lunged forward as she hugged him, as Naruto started to blush, having his older girl hug him like this, as Itachi had a smile on his face. She pumped her fist in the air. Let's go eat some dango, celebrate then, she said. They followed behind her. Itachi knew that his father would probably have a heart attack, knowing that he was getting training from the snake son himself. His mother would probably smile, happy that both him and Naruto are on the same team. But Itachi just was really glad that Naruto was on his team. Without his philosophy of underneath, they would have probably lost in the first few seconds. Anko, on the other hand, was chuckling. She had 2 young boys who could, well, she could mold them for them to see her as a princess. Once she got her way with them though. Yes, and using dango as well, as you could get to any guy by their stomach. Oh, by the way, Uncle said as he reached in the dango stall. Everyone pay their own. I'm not offering, she said. Shouldn't elders set the example, Itachi asked. Are you calling me old brat, she asked. No, but stingy should be used to describe you, Itachi said, as the girl eyes narrowed. Listen, clan boy, I'm sure that you get a weekly allowance that is higher than my monthly check for being an orphan. And since this month, I'm going to become a genin. Until missions start to roll in, I'll be short on cash. So you can suck it up and pay for your own dongos. Or you can watch me eat mine, she said. As Itachi's eyes softened. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't. Of course you didn't know, she said. It's not like I go around parading it. As the both of them arrived, she glanced around, as Naruto didn't come inside. The other brat is not getting any? Does he feed on souls or... She didn't finish the sentence as Itachi's gaze turned murderous, making her pale. Do not insult him without knowing. And don't you dare joke on him. If you think you have it tough, he has it tougher. He stepped away from her, making his way back to Naruto. You don't like dongos, right? Naruto nodded, as Itachi knew that wasn't the truth, since the boy ate anything as long as it was eatable. But the main reason was monetary. And Naruto was simply too prideful, and he wouldn't accept from him. He didn't want in charity. Well, tomorrow after training, we'll go and get Ichiraku ramen then. It's just fair we all take turns with food, Itachi said. As Uncle thought about it, Ichiraku ramen did have cheap ramen, even cheaper than her dongos. As she wondered, was the boy surviving on ramen, like how she was surviving on dongos? Sure, he was a Jinjulki, but he once was a member of Namikaze clan. Damn, he was once the son of the fourth Hokage. He was just disowned for what, 2 years? Didn't he have any money on him when they kicked him out? Or a bank account? Rich kids always have a bank account, didn't they? Say kid, Uncle said, as Itachi turned his gaze back on her. Age be damned. If she tried or said anything, he would throw a kunai through her back. You should speak up if you don't like Dango, Uncle said. Itachi released a sigh as Naruto stretched the back of his head. I didn't want to disrespect you, Bigarashi-san, said Naruto, as he said in a rather cute way, making Uncle eyes sparkle. Aw, you're so cute, she said. She grabbed him and started rocking him from left to right. Maybe it was fellowship in tough childhood, Itachi thought. Yo. As everyone turned, it was none other than the famous copy ninja, Kakashi Hatake, with his bright orange book, his one eye looking at them. I heard congratulations are in order, Naruto-kun. Hatake said. Naruto said as he bowed his head. Yes, the boy was rather politeful. He was the most politeful student Kakashi has ever had before. That is why he never had a problem teaching him a few basics, or giving him a few pointers here and there. Wait, isn't that the copy ninja, Kakashi Hatake, the son of the White Fang? As Uncle said that, the silver-haired Jonin, boy in question, of 16 years old of age, closed his book as he turned towards her, as he gave her a smile. Hatake-san and Naruto-kun know each other since a while ago, Itachi said, as Naruto walked forward a lot less limping than he was doing 30 minutes ago, with a small smile on his face. Well, I promise a promise, said Kakashi, as he handed Naruto a tanto. Know that you're a genin, I expect you to keep your promise to heart. Yes, Kakashi-san, said Naruto. Meanwhile, the Hokage Tower, Minato banged his fist against the decks. I told you to make him fail. Glad. He was very glad for his soundproof walls, and the privacy sealed at that moment. It appears Hokage-sama, Orochimaru hits the last part very violently, that he has very good hidden qualities, and for that alone, he would be worthy of being taken as apprentice by myself, exclusively. But since you prevent me from doing that, I took his team, and they all pass. Minato blue eyes glanced at the Sannin dangerously. They pass, or you let them pass. As a legendary Sannin played for a fool by 3 children. How stupid do you think I am, said Minato. I would never claim such a thing, Hokage-sama, Orochimaru said, in a rather sarcastic tone. But whether that is the truth or not, it does not matter. I passed them. They are my team. I will take them on missions and train them to become the very best. The way he said it, it didn't sound too reassuring that he would train them to become the best that they could. It was like a threat. Yes, he would train them, but maybe for other reasons. Well then, tomorrow afternoon, they will have the honor with you to go on their first mission at D rank 1, said Minato. The windows creaked a bit, like some sort of pressure was applied to them. Hokage-sama, said Orochimaru, a hiss in his tone, more pronounced than before. I say they can start with C rank missions as soon as I'm finished training them. Minato blue eyes lit up with his face, showing off a cheesy grin. Good thing then that I'm the Hokage, since you will be doing D rank missions until there are none more available. His tone was sort of happy the way he said that. As Orochimaru turned to leave, I will not tell a Hokage he's making a mistake. I did it once and it didn't work. With that he left the office. Flashback. Him as Hokage? Rage was on Orochimaru's face. Orochimaru-kun, he will do. And what is needed for the village before himself. That is what it means to be a Hokage. Can you really do that, my student? Asked Sarutobi. Orochimaru's eyes narrowed at the third. You are making a mistake, Hokage-sama, he said. And with those words, he simply left the office, not caring that Jiraiya, that old fool, had tried to stop him from doing so. He didn't want to hear any crap about how they should counsel and help the new Hokage. End of flashback. Minato turned his gaze towards the village. To be the Hokage, one must put the village before his own needs. Or interests. It seems I have failed at that. He then turned to face off against his most horrible enemy, the paperwork. Meanwhile, the kids were sitting on a bench in the park, as people gave them wide berth when they saw Naruto right there. Hey brat, can I ask you a question, said Uncle as she looked towards Itachi. He simply raised an eyebrow. She took that as a go-ahead. You're from the Uchiha clan, right? So where's your Sharingan? Itachi said it was a common misconception that being a Uchiha means you have to have the Sharingan. Some never awoken it. Others did late. It all depended. It might come out soon. Or later. Or might not at all, Itachi said. Well, let's get to know each other better. My name is Midarashi Uncle. You can call me Uncle Sama. Or Uncle San. She turned towards Naruto with a grin. But you can call me Uncle Chan, she said. So, I got a very good aim, and my reflex are top notch, and I'm also very studious. By the way, my favorite spot is in the library. I wouldn't have thought that, Uncle-chan, said Naruto. As Uncle looked towards him, you seem so cheery. I thought you liked hanging around the commercial district, like all the other girls. What's so funny, said Naruto. Why are you repressing a chuckle? Uncle couldn't help herself, the boy wasn't even rude when he expressed his opinion. But he really did call her Uncle-chan. Well, nothing at all, Naruto-kun, she said. What about you? I'm Naruto Uzumaki, you know it already. I'm very good at surviving and hiding. Very well. The way he said that, it sounded like he was full of pride. Was surviving and hiding a good thing? Yes, probably hiding was. Naruto-kun can enter high security areas with little problem, Itachi said. He can also come up with more than one way of dealing with problems, Itachi said. As Naruto was really selling himself short right there. His transformations are top stuff. Sometimes even the Uchiha guards get caught by it. Well, if you did get promoted ahead of time, you had to be good. So what about you, clan boy? Asked Uncle. Can I please be called Itachi-kun? Said Itachi. Uncle's face lit up quite teasingly. Are you jealous that I called him Naruto-kun? She said, as she ruffled Naruto's hair with a smile towards Itachi. No, but I do believe it will be help if we consider each other equals instead of bringing up hierarchy or age gaps. Uncle frowned at that. He was probably right. Fine, Itachi-kun. You're proud and beautiful. Teammate Kunoichi will take care of anything. Now spill the beans. What can you do? I know how to do the fire techniques, typical of the Uchiha clan. And I was first in genjutsu practice and use, Itachi pointed out. Naruto was the one that came in this time. Itachi can know how to do those cool things with Chakra, like make it seem like a dream. He can also like turn into a crow, or something like that. He's sometimes better than me at taijutsu, but that depends if he gets first strike or not. I see. You two look out for each other a lot, huh? Uncle said, as she felt a bit jealous. Sure, she had friends, but these two look like they come out of a close friendship. A story that turned rather devious because of her mind. Nah, they were just friends, good friends. I think it would be irresponsible to leave Naruto-kun alone for the safety of the village, Itachi said. Uncle raised the eyebrow. Was he afraid of the Kyuubi? But he didn't seem puzzled by that. So what was the deal? So, you're afraid of... As she was talking, Itachi realized a misunderstanding as he chuckled. No, not that. He's truly a force to be reckoned with, but not because of what he harbors. Left alone, he tends to get himself into some rather dangerous situations at times. Like that time he strode into the Anbu department. Naruto winced a bit as he remembered that. It wasn't my fault. How could I know that tree stumps aren't supposed to be hollow? I was just curious. I did get myself some nice stuff though, but they're too big for me anyway to use. Uncle raised the eyebrow. Nice stuff? As Naruto nodded. Yeah, one seat. My apartment is nearby, he said. Oh? Are they making a move on your teammate? Well, Uncle shrugged. Come on, she said. As she followed behind him, her mind was already reeling about giant katanas, magical blades, armors, or a machine that can create dango on a whip. As her lips watered at that. As they slowly made their way to his apartment, Naruto was really quiet. He paused as his door was open. Could you wait here for a moment, please? He whispered that as Uncle watched him as he made his way to the door. With a brief moment of slight fear, he entered. What? Is he hiding his porn stash? I don't care, she said. Itachi turned towards her. Did you remember my previous words? Well, let's go, he said. As Itachi enters, Uncle stepped at the doorstep. Uncle's room was a mess, but that was because she didn't keep much things in order. But his room was completely trash. There was a dead dog carcass in the corner of the room, with a stench that was unbearable. His pillow has been torn up, his clothes had been stomped on and ripped to pieces. Red markings paint on the wall. In the middle of the mess, Naruto was moving a broken bed out of the way as he removed the wooden plank that was on the ground. As he pulled out the adult trench coat with what that seemed like a kunai pouch, followed by a frog wallet. He then turned at the two that has entered his apartment. Well, it seems there was a theft in here, he said, trying to put on a fake smile, but it was too fake. Did they steal anything? Asked Itachi. As Naruto shook his head, a sad look came on Itachi's face. Naruto, it's not a theft if they don't steal stuff. This is plain vandalism. Come on, you can sleep. No, Itachi, said Naruto, as he shook his head. I just need to survive another month, maybe 2 or 3. With the mission money coming in, I will be able to rent an apartment on my own. That should be enough. Kid, you know that you can have another apartment assigned to you by the Hokage, right? Said Uncle. I could. But I won't trouble him, said Naruto. The way he said that, it was Naruto who didn't want to deal with the Hokage, not out of sympathy. And I'm gonna be fine, really, he said. Fine, but you will form a formal accusation against unknown. At least that would make the Hokage cash out for repairs. You know how it would end, Itachi. Come on. They will try to say I didn't close the door, the window was unlocked or something, and a fault to be placed on me. And I would have to pay for damage, as he had a resigned smile on his face. Enough, Uncle said. I ain't gonna have a whiny boy for my teammate. You need to get some balls and go talk to that man. He was your father for Kami's sake. You should, Uncle. That's enough, yelled Itachi. For once, yelling. As Naruto's face turned dark as he looked down towards the ground. As Uncle looked at him, she knew the boy had been disowned. It made quite a ruckus, since the reason that was given was quite disrespectful of the clan head. But Naruto was so nice. Surely it had to be political, as she couldn't believe a father could actually hate his own son that much. Ouch, got some dust in my eyes, said Naruto, as he wiped his eyes to sleep for a moment. Anyway, this is what I took from the envelope, he said, as he handed her the trench coat. Uncle noticed that his eye had a little water in it, probably from the dust. Earth to Uncle, he's still 7 years old. He's allowed to cry. You cried yourself a lot of time before. Come on, stop being a generic prick, and hug the poor boy. That was what her mind was saying, but she didn't know how formal she could be. As she looked at the coat, it was a bit big. He'd need a couple more years before he can wear it. Well, it's nice now, but it's a bit big for you, she said. You can have it. I don't know if I'll be around in 5 or 6 years to get to wear it. Uncle looked at him, her face puzzled. Come on, you don't have to be that way, she said. Sure, being a shinobi is a good way to die young, but with me being around, I'll watch your back. I'll be here for Clan Boy as well, she said as she placed a hand on both of their shoulders. And today, their team was born. The second day, Uncle was dragged by a giant snake, scared and still sleepy. Itachi was also tied up in a snake. As Naruto was the only one there, spared from the treatment as he was also the only one dressed. Training begins now, Orochimaru said, as he was perfect dressed in his Jonin attire. But Sensei, you said 5 in the morning. It's barely 3. I lied. You should have expected that. As Orochimaru hopped from rooftop to rooftop, the snake bringing them along with him, as Naruto hopped with them. As they arrived in the training ground, the snakes dispersed. Both of them were still in their pajamas, as Naruto had the backpack as he started to go through it. Now, first rule, always be ready for anything. I don't care if you're in the bathroom, or if you have a fever, or you're sleeping. When I come around to get you for training, I expect you to be ready to train. Forget your equipment and you have to build your own to do the exercises. Understood? Yes, Sensei, said Uncle, rubbing her arms on her shoulder to try to get warm. How? Said Itachi, as he wanted to know how Orochimaru came inside the Uchiha compound, the giant snake, and left without the guard noticing. Well, that's a shinobi secret, Orochimaru said, as he glanced towards Naruto, who pulled out a chocolate bar out of his bag, as he neatly cut it in half, giving one part with a polite gesture to Uncle, and the other to Itachi. Itachi took his half and split it and handed the other piece to Naruto. Naruto nodded as he turned to Orochimaru. Chocolate? Orochimaru raised the eyebrow, a bit puzzled. It was the first time a genin had the guts and the audacity to offer him chocolate. Usually, some annoying kunoichi went out of her way to get him flowers. What was the boy's objective here? It's cold outside, said Naruto. Chocolate makes one warmer, he pointed out. For a brief moment, no one said a single word. Uncle ended up breaking her chocolate bar into half. As if she ate this, he wouldn't get any, so she had given a piece of hers, like what Itachi did. As Orochimaru took the chocolate, as Uncle handed a piece of hers to Naruto, as everyone ate the quarter of chocolate, the boy was said to be unpredictable. But I never expected this much. This should be interesting, Orochimaru thought to himself. He then pointed at Itachi. Now, I'm sure that you know the fire techniques of your clan. I'm pretty sure that you lot doesn't have the necessary capability to use other elemental jutsus efficiently right now. But I'll teach you how to refine your chakra control so that you will. But the first step is to climb that tree. As he pointed towards the tree. Oh, that's easy, Uncle said, as Uncle quickly used her hands and feet to climb the tree, as she wanted to go home as quickly as possible. Wind style, Daytapa. A small wind knocked her out of the tree as she dropped right into a bush. Ouch! What was that for, Sensei? You must climb the tree by using chakra. Like this, he said. He climbed it only about 2 steps before he jumped off, not wanting to waste time. Wow, what do we have to do that, Sensei? She said. As Orochimaru grinned as he turned towards the two other boys. Ask Itachi-kun, he said. As Orochimaru simply walked off. I'll be back once you finish the exercise. Uncle turned towards Itachi. You concentrate chakra at the bottom of your feet. You can use that to climb up any flat surface. In this case, a tree bark. You need the right amount. Too much and it will break. Too little and you will slip off. He demonstrated by walking all the way to the top of the tree. This also worked on walls of apartment buildings to reach windows, said Naruto. Paper doors, like that. And when completely refined, you can walk on water, said Naruto. So you got this done as well? Itachi showed it to me. I learned it. It is survival material, said Naruto. Itachi-kun, you can go home and get your clothes. Probably a spare change for Uncle-chan as well. In the meantime, we'll start. While I trust Uncle will get this done very quickly. She might take some time. Orochimaru grinned from the spot that he was hiding in. Already a team, and there was a clear leader, a worker, and an obvious weak link. He would have some fun messing with them. Some months later, Torun, Tiri, Tana, Tana, Tiara, and finally Tora. Those were the names of the cats that belonged to the Fire Daimyo's wife. All of them were found dead. Only their first, with little to no blood, delivered to the palace door, with a sign saying that animals should not be lost. With a recent cut in the funds issued to war orphans, things like that. Obviously, there was no proof that Orochimaru or his Genin team had done it. But some rumors have been going around that someone had been skinning the cats and cooking them in stew. Well, that was ridiculous, Naruto thought. Cat stew tastes horrible. Cat barbecue was different. But still, with no cats to hunt, the D-rank missions came to an end. As always, the team stood behind Orochimaru, Anko at the front, Itachi right behind, and Naruto at the back, hiding as much of his body away from the Hokage view. As the mission roster was being looked over, it appears that there's no more D-rank missions, said Minato as he turned his gaze to Iruka. So we'll get a C-rank mission, finally. I mean, Hokage-sama. We've been on over 57 D-rank missions. Till now, we have cleaned the Aburame hives, the Inuzaka kennels, the Akamichi latrines. That wasn't a good thing, Uncle thought, as her face showed disgust by just thinking about it. The Yamanaka flower shop has been arranged. The Uchiha compound has been sparkly clean, as Mikoto had started to chuckle since they came. Something about seeing her son and Naruto using dustpan and cleaning the place just made her start to laugh. The Nara has all of their deers counted for and vaccinated, and the Hyugas have all of their dojo mats placed. We did all the D-rank works that a Sasuke Genin team should do. We want a higher level mission. Is that the way to show respect to the Hokage brat? Said Iruka. Orochimaru chuckled. Is that the way to talk to one of my personal trained Genins? Iruka paled, as Orochimaru looked at him sternly. Fine, there's a C rank available. You are to head to Tanzuka town, and once there receive a package from the famous doll maker, Kokoyo, and bring it back here. It will be your first time out of the village. You are to expect nothing more than a long-term mission. But once you receive the package, know that doll inside is highly precious, and you must expect thieves to try and claim it. Orochimaru took the scroll as he did one of his famous trademark chuckles as he left with his team. The group made their way towards the gate, not need to pack up stuff. But I know they knew how their sensei worked. A combination of not wasting and beating time around the bushes. You had to always be prepared. After all, Uncle had to weed grass in her pajamas, and no amount of pleading would make Orochimaru change his mind. You have to be ready when he came to get you, or you weren't, and you would pay the price. As the group departed from the gate, Uncle had a smug grin on her face as they made their way, as they were finally going out on a C-rank mission out of the village. As for Uncle, she was wearing a fishnet shirt with a dark green jacket over it, close right up to her cleavage, which she was still lacking severely. A pale purple skirt. While it wasn't really long, it wasn't really short either. Itachi had on a pale brown shirt with the Uchiha symbol on the back, beige pants, and a small belt with kunai pouches, as Naruto had on a normal grey sleeve jacket underneath. A thin black shirt was visible, his trousers long and cream color, finished in a sort of motif. Needless to say, shopping at night when the shop is closed, well, you couldn't choose and pick, just take what you saw. Orochimaru obviously knew about Naruto night activities, but he used to do it in the past as well. But now his nightly activities were more lively. As to think about it, probably one day him and Naruto might pass each other. him with a sack of live test subjects and Naruto with some new clothes that he stole. The both of them would probably salute each other and made their way. Tansuka Town is a gambling den, Uncle said, filled with casinos. As she was a bookworm, after all, she knew that. Is this Kukyo guy famous, said Naruto. He never saw a doll before, and he never really played with one. He is, actually, Itachi said. I overheard my mother saying that she was glad I wasn't born a female, because she would have to give me one of his dolls. Some of them cost over 200,000 Ryu. Naruto blinked as he turned towards Orochimaru. Sensei? Yes, Naruto-kun, Orochimaru said. How much is 200,000 Ryu? At the question, Orochimaru sighed. Just imagine 2,000 of those ramens that you like so much. So, basically, we can feed the entire village for lunchtime. For one of his dolls. Orochimaru nodded, and instead someone bought this doll, right? Orochimaru nodded. Who would do something as stupid as that? As Uncle wondered as well. Well, she guessed some people have it good and some people have it bad. There are a lot of people that will do that, Naruto-kun. Like for example, daimyos have a lot of money and they could use it as they wish. Anyone has a lot of cash can buy it though. Think about it. Since he has done a lot of extract missions, he's probably very rich. He can probably buy 2,000 of those dolls if you wish. It just depends on the person's personality, said Itachi. But if you want one so badly, you could always steal it, said Naruto. Orochimaru chuckled. Naruto, stealing is bad. Sensei, Naruto isn't stealing anything at all, I know it, said Uncle. As shinobi is first most a thief, Uncle-chan. Said Orochimaru, we steal information, we steal treasures, or weapons needed for our own cause. We also steal life from our enemies. We murder. We are a tool. We are a weapon, we are objects. There are many faces of a shinobi. Stealing is bad. But only bad if you get caught. Although I probably shouldn't say this with the son of Konoha Private Police Department Chief in my team. Stealing to survive isn't stealing. It is surviving, Itachi said. Well, if that's your opinion, just don't let your father catch you saying that, Orochimaru said. And with that they made their way until their first night, where Naruto was on guard duty, as Uncle sat down next to him. So, you like the Ichiraku ramen girl, she said, with that innocent smile on her face, as Naruto turned towards her. But guys, be end subs right here. If you want the next part to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification as I posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, stay in tune for the rest of the what is coming your way, which I hope you enjoy each and every one of them. But for now, I'm out of here. See you guys soon. Peace.